Hi, my name is Sean Rumble. Welcome to a video tutorial on how to use the FedEx Ship Manager at ES Originals to ship international packages. In the last video I ended with how t- with a preview on what those two things are for sending out international shipments to buyers. And a little hint there at the end there. And as you can see on the screen here that I'm circling in here, these are the two things that you would need to do when processing sh international shipments in the seventh floor mailroom at ES Originals, which are commodity slash merchandise and customs. And in this video tutorial, I will go over those two those two things in more details as the two additional steps that you would need to do before you can successfully create the FedEx Express label for your shipments. So let's get started. A quick refresher for viewers that are watching this video is, as always, you would type in this box called recipient ID. In this case, whatever you sent to, like in this instance, QDP Fution labels. You will always want to make sure the country here is selected as China. And of course, once you have the QDP address or as in the recipient ID filled out here, you can simply just press the tab key and all the information will fill in. And of course, you could change the contact name as needed based on whatever's being whatever the person that is sending the shoe shipment out to the buyers overseas in China to to get their sample. So so this is all the info that you will fill out right here. On the right here, as you can see here, you will want to select commodity and merchandise if you're sending out shoe samples to the buyers overseas in China. You would type in the number of packages, as you see here, right here, number of packages, which as you can see, it will be one. You will, and again, just as I mentioned in the last video that the FedEx scale will automatically put the weight for you into the system. Unless the FedEx scale is not working properly, then you can manually enter the weight of your shipment. Now, one thing you'll notice here that is different from the domestic shipment is the drop-down menu oops, of this thing called service type that I have circled in green. And in this service type, viewers should take notice of what you're seeing on my screen here as I'm demoing this FedEx Ship Manager for processing international shipments. Notice on the menus here that that international shipments have very few service types. And as you can see here, the only main concerns that you will need to be worrying about are these two options right here. FedEx International Priority and FedEx International Economy. These options we don't use down here. FedEx International Connect Plus, FedEx International Priority Freight, and FedEx International Economy Freight. Those we do not use. We do not use those for sending out shipments. Unless you're otherwise otherwise unless you're otherwise told that it's from whoever's sending out the shipment overseas that's filling out the paperwork states otherwise that it's a FedEx International Economy shipment, you will always go under the assumption that sending commodity and merchandise packages overseas are always this option, FedEx International Priority. And viewers should also notice, well, while you don't see it on my screen here, but FedEx International Priority is not always selected from the drop-down menu as the first option. It may be selected like in the third option. So please be careful of that, and please take notice of that. Now, from this drop-down menu, as you can see here, this is called the package type. While there are other options here under this package type selection, most of the shipments that you will send overseas for commodity and merchandise fall under this first selection right here, which is option number 1, which is called your packaging. This is the one that you will want to select. And of course, as always, is like in the video I did last time for sending out domestic shipments, same thing over here with the package dimensions. You would select your dimension size for whatever package your whatever box you pack it in, and that'll be the dimensions you select from this drop down menu list, whatever the size is that you pack it in. And of course, just like the domestic shipments, similarly here with FedEx international shipments, you will always want to have a customer reference go here, which is as just like with the domestic shipments, same thing here for FedEx international shipments, that it will be whoever is sending out the FedEx shipment will be one of the references, and the other person that is helping out with the process of sending out the shipment will be the other reference. As you see here, that's as you see on my screen, that's how you enter the customer reference as you see on my screen. But we're not done though. You're not done yet. Now, this is where the 2 additional steps kick in for, as I showed at the beginning of this video, the commodity and merchandise and customs. This is where these 2 additional steps kick in. And you're going to see those, and you're going to see that appear in this demo video as I'm playing it for you now. Okay, so here. So as you can see here, this is what you call commodity and merchandise, which is located right up here. And in this commodity and merchandise comes the commodity ID, where in this field you enter what is the type of shoe that you're sending out. For instance, if you're sending out like a slide or a sneaker or a slipper and such, that will be provided in this drop down menu here in the commodity ID. You can simply type it, and if you see it on, just simply press the tab. It will fill that in for you. Now, another thing viewers should take notice as you see here on my screen here as I'm demoing it. These two things right here, this is this is called the gender of the shoe, and this is called the brand of the shoe. Now, these are subject to change based on whatever shipment you're sending to and whatever shoe styles and brand names and such that will vary on the gender of the of the gender and the brand that you send it out. For instance, as you see here, this is a men and a Nautica, which is a type of slide. Of course, in some instances you'll see it be changed to like women's, and sometimes some Nautica it'll be like other brands like I can't think of any off the top of my head at this moment, but Nautica is one of them, and like Adidas could be another one as the brand there. So those are the two main things that you need to change for international shipments is there. But that would depend on whatever shoes or whatever samples you're sending out to the buyers overseas will affect what you need to put over here. That will go all of which under the commodity description right here. And the commodity description. Now, the next thing you see on my screen here is country manufacturer. Of course, we know it's grayed out. It's going to be China, which we know that already. Quantity. So sometimes the the quantity number will change. In some instances, it'll be one. In some instances, it'll be two, and such. That would depend on what you're sending out. Will affect the quantity of it. Next is the unit of measure, which in this case you will want to leave as PCS pieces. Of course, there's other drop down menus of it that you could also do, but to make life easier, you will want to stick with PCS pieces. Now, the next thing that comes into play here is the unit value, and in the unit value, that the prices will vary based on gender, and and it and the different price ranges are as follows. For men's, the cost to send out international shipments is $5. For kids, the cost to send out international shipments is $1.50. For women's, the cost to send out international shipments is $3.50, and that is for each piece, and each piece will cost 0.50 cents for every pair that you send out. And that'll be placed in the unit value here. Oh, and all that will be, and all what I just mentioned will be provided in the description box to make it easier for viewers to see. And as you can see here, this, and once you're done filling out all that stuff, you would simply just go to, you're gonna see in just a minute right here. You're gonna see it right here. You click on this button right here, click add to shipment, click add to shipment, and it'll add the commodity for you, and you'll keep clicking this option, keep clicking this add to shipment option. So if you have multiple pieces with multiple shipments within a package that you're sending out, and you keep clicking this until you're all done filling out all the commodities. Now we're not necessarily done here yet, though. There's one very last thing you have to do here before you could finally uh click the ship button to generate your FedEx Express label for the shipment that you're sending out overseas to wherever it's going. And the very last thing you need to go to is customs. And in customs, as you see here, as I'm demoing it, you want to make sure this is checked. You want to make sure this is checked off right here, which is called electronically upload trade documents. And the customs tab is right here next to commodities and merchandise tab right up here. As you see me circled here in green. For viewers, I want to know where it is visually. Oh, let me just move back a little bit because another thing that you gotta make sure of is this. The AES and EEI, formerly SED. This is is very important. You want to make sure that this is set to no EEI required. This is what you should have. This is what you should have selected from the drop-down menu. Unless you are told otherwise that it is not the no EEI required option, please leave this option as no EEI required. Then, the very next thing you will have to fill out is this. As you see circled in green here, with my green arrow pointing it, is this, the FTR exemption. Now, in this field here, the FTR exemption, you will get a drop-down menu of a wide variety of selections, as you see here. And as you can see here, it gives you a wider range of no EEI selections. For most international shipments, the one that you will want to select is this option right here. This second option right here from the drop-down menu, which is no EEI 30.37A. This is the option that you would select for in for FedEx international shipments for overseas for regular overseas shipments. This is the selection you make. Now, of course, there's no EEI for 30.36, but that's for like Canada, Canada or Mexico shipments. You will use this one, but very rarely at ESO we will send stuff to Canada, or or Mexico. So that's where this first option will kick in. But otherwise, this no EEI 30.378 is the selection that you will want to select for the FTR exemption, since that's where most of the overseas shipments go, is to this one. And once you have that done, now you can go to this option right here. And that's where my green arrow is pointing on my screen here. Now you can select and click. You can select and click on this ship button on the bottom right hand corner of your screen here to send out and complete your FedEx process of international shipping your FedEx international package to wherever it's going. And you just press that ship button. You will see the green line. You will see the green line go across the screen, which you don't see it here, but it will generate the FedEx. It will generate the FedEx Express label for you. And that's it. And then you just simply just you peel off the FedEx Express label and you put it on the package on the side there, and you put it out on the side there for FedEx Express to pick it up, and you give the return label. I mean, not the return, excuse me. You give the FedEx tracking number to whoever sent that out for reference, so they can monitor their package for overseas for their overseas shipment. But yeah, that's basically the process of how you send FedEx international shipments using the FedEx Ship Manager. And I know, as I mentioned in the previous video on how to send it out for domestic, at the very end of that, yes, as you can see here, FedEx international shipments are very time consuming and very tedious, and they take a while to do. And at first, it might look very tedious. It may look very tedious on doing and going through the process of sending out a FedEx shipment for FedEx International. I mean, FedEx, excuse me, for sending it out internationally. But once you get enough practice with doing it, and and you get comfortable with learning the process of how to send out shipments internationally to buyers overseas, you'll gradually start to not only get the hang of it, but you'll be able to pick up the pace and be able to do this very quickly once you get the hang of it, and it won't be so tedious anymore. So yeah, with more practice of how of a practice of how to do the sending out shoe samples internationally using the FedEx Ship Manager software, you'll get the hang of it, and you won't feel so nervous about doing the whole process anymore. All right. I hope you found this video, and excuse me, and I know that was a little long, but I hope you all found this video tutorial helpful. Thank you for watching.